just days after the Pakistan train hijack controversy, rebels are now claiming all 214 military hostages have been executed. 214 Pakistani military hostages have been executed. Pakistan ignored our ultimatum. Pakistan refused to engage in negotiations. Heavy fight still continues in the Baloch area. My colleague Gaurav Sawant is now joining me on the story. Gaurav, from the BLA, we are now seeing a statement coming in which says 214. That's the total number of military hostages. All of them have been executed.
There's a statement that has just come from Baloch, who's the Baloch Liberation Army spokesperson. And the spokesperson says that Pakistan Army was given a 48-hour deadline to exchange prisoners of war, which was the last chance for the occupying Pakistan Army to save the lives of its personnel. Now, the Baloch spokesperson goes on to say that the Pakistan Army displayed its traditional stubbornness and military arrogance, not only avoided serious negotiations but also turned a blind eye to ground realities. As a result of the stubbornness of the occupying army, all 214 hostage military personnel have been killed. Now, this is a huge development if true, because Pakistan Army yesterday had claimed in a press conference that they had rescued most of the hostages. They conceded some soldiers had died and some Frontier Corps personnel had died when the train was hijacked. They, of course, claimed the numbers that they gave did not kind of add up to the total. So we still do not know whether Baloch Liberation Army had hostages. They've taken Pakistani soldiers hostages. They claim they've killed 214. Pakistan Army claims they've rescued most. So it remains to be seen what happens and whether any evidence is put out in public domain in terms of either pictures or statements, either by the Pakistan Army or by the Baloch Liberation Army. But the situation really appears to be taking a turn from the bad to the worse in Balochistan.
Right, Gaurav, we are also seeing this is Pakistan imploding. On one side, there are statements coming in from Pakistan, from the Pakistani army, and on the other side, we are seeing the Baloch army saying that the ultimatum was being given, but the Pakistani army, the administration did not pay heed to it. So this is an implosion of sorts, Gaurav, that we are seeing in front of our eyes.
Aishwarya, you're absolutely right. The situation is extremely grim. There are political leaders in Pakistan who say this situation has never been worse, except before the 1971 war, where Bangladesh was split and another country was created. The situation is extremely grim for Pakistan. There are political leaders in Pakistan who have gone on record to say 60% of Pakistan is no longer in the control of the Pakistani state. And when you look at the situation on ground, Balochistan is virtually 40% of the territory that's occupied by Pakistan, as the Baloch people put it. So Balochistan is not in their control. Maulana Fazlur Rahman went on record to say that there are 7 to 8 districts in Balochistan. If they declare independence, there is nothing that the Pakistani state can do about it. There is trouble in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. There are multiple terror attacks that are taking place, and they've intensified since the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. So all along the Durand line, all along the Afpak border, there is trouble. There is trouble internally in Pakistan. There is political uncertainty in Pakistan with Imran Khan's forces, the PTI workers and cadres against the Pakistan army and state. So Pakistan is perhaps in its worst crisis since 1971 war right now.
Right, Gaurav, you are saying that this is sort of the worst crisis that we have seen at least in the past 50 years with regards to Pakistan. Different statements, Gaurav, are coming in. Do you believe from either of the sides we could get some kind of support, some kind of videos to back the claims that they are making?
Well, information war is extremely significant as the nature of warfare changes. You know, the Baloch Liberation Army, they have actually come together. Very recently, there was a meeting in which 5 separate organizations who were fighting the Pakistani state in Balochistan, the Baloch Liberation Army, the Baloch Republican Guards, the Baloch National Guards, they've all come together and formed one organization called the BRAS, and they call themselves the Baloch National Army. There are some indications that indicate that all these forces have not only joined hands in terms of their intelligence inputs, in terms of their logistics, but also in terms of operations to carry out such a major attack on the Pakistani state, taking the Jafar Express, hijacking it and then taking hostages. So that appears to be a major threat. And what is not reported very extensively, while Jafar Express was being hijacked, there were 7 or 8 simultaneous attacks that were going on in various parts of Balochistan and also in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So in case they've made common cause with the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, then the trouble will only intensify, and with images that are likely to be put out, with videos that are likely to be put out, it could be very, very embarrassing for the Pakistan Army, because when Pakistan Army claims rules of the game have changed, it could only indicate that there will be more repression of the people of Balochistan that has been carried out in multiple waves in the past, including in 2006 when Nawab Akbar Bukti was assassinated by the Pakistani forces under Parvez Musharraf, or before that when Tikka Khan did that in 1972-73. So it remains to be seen what happens next, but the situation is extremely grim for Pakistan.
Gaurav, please stay on with me. We've got some more breaking news coming in with regards to Pakistan. It's the death. It's the death toll in the Pakistan train hijacking case, which has now risen to 31. Pakistani army has come out with a statement and they are saying 31 have been killed in the Pakistan train hijack case. They in fact are now saying terrorism is linked to Afghanistan. Afghani militants carried out the hijack. This is a statement coming in from Pakistan.
So these are the count of the division of this 26. Other than that, we had operational casualties which were not part of the train. As I said earlier, there were 3 FC soldiers who embraced shahadas once their picket was attacked. And 1 FC soldier of Ghazaban Scout embraced shahadat, and 1 FC soldier who was part of the duty on this train, he also embraced shahadat. So we have so far 5 operational casualties.
My colleague Gaurav is still with me on the story. Gaurav, from this statement, the only thing that I could personally make out was that they were trying to divert the attention and they were saying that only 31 casualties have been reported. So this is Pakistan now raising fingers, pointing fingers at Afghanistan and saying it's the Afghani militants who carried out the hijack attack.
So Lieutenant General Ahmad Sharif Chaudhry, who is Director General of Inter-Services Public Relations in Pakistan, DGISPR, he had a very, very detailed press briefing, and it does appear that Pakistan is trying to either hide facts or give half-truths and absolute lies. It remains to be seen, because the claims are completely different. While they put out a lot of drone camera images and they gave details of how they had carried out counter Baloch fighter operations in Balochistan, how the train was hijacked, how people were rescued, all of that. But he did concede yesterday that the Baloch fighters had released some passengers, but he said that all of that was narrative building. They've now increased the number of the people who were killed from 25, which they initially said 21 and 4, to now 31. But numbers are still not adding up for the Pakistan Army, and perhaps they would in a couple of days. But you're absolutely right. Now they're blaming Afghan. They claim Afghan terrorists have done this, and they're saying that all the bases of the Baloch Liberation Army are in Afghanistan. Imagine this is the same Pakistan that was celebrating when Taliban took over Afghanistan. Then DG ISI had gone to Serena Hotel, was having coffee there and saying all will be good and all is well and words to that effect. But it couldn't be further from the truth, and that just shows how Pakistan Army thinking remains extremely tactical and not strategic, and they haven't been able to protect their own country. And the army, there's a criticism that's made often that when the army sells cement and conflicts and corner plots, then they're not a professional army, because then they're not going in for patriotism, they're only looking at profits and therefore unable to fight.
Thank you, Gaurav, putting things in perspective. And as Gaurav also pointed out, the images that are coming in at the moment, not very clear. The figures that are being given by the Pakistani army are murky at the moment. No particular statement, no evidence to back what the Pakistani army at the moment is saying. The Balochistan Liberation Army says all the 214 hostages have been executed.